the first time.
Okay, my name is Ananta Krishnan. I'm originally from India, but I did my film school in Hungary. So we had this assignment. Initially we built a kind of a very good relationship with all the characters you have seen, and it wasn't easy because we only had one person who can speak Hungarian. Other co-directors, Botan Kusok from Romania, and Charlotte Murat from France, and Monica Bustamante from Colombia. And I don't know how I ended up with this movie.
Yeah, it's actually obvious that you were very close to your characters, but my question is, from your experience, what was the secret, like coming from different countries and cultures, like what helped you to establish this connection, and how hard or how easy was it actually on spot?
For the process of this movie, I really had to work with the other three directors, so we had a lot of references, and Monica is a color grader, and Botan is an editor also. So all of us had kind of a different fairy tale ideas about how we look at the mustache, or the patriarchal way of looking at men, and we decided to have like kind of fairy tale approach, we were tired of making like really serious movies and experimental movies, so we thought about, okay, let's make a fairy tale movie.
I have a question. Why this topic? How you come to this? It has to be some process in your mind before. What was it?
It was not an intention. We didn't really plan to make this movie. We planned to make a movie about a jail in Kasan. So we did some research and we realized then it's going to be again kind of a very cliche kind of movie. Like we work like, okay, go for again permission, then you probably shoot the architecture, but it's not going to be something new. Then Monica and Charlotte, they proposed this idea. We were really fascinated about the hair of the man and the mustache of the man. Then we jumped into this project.
It's something similar with the Yesterday film from Ukraine.
Yes.
Where the music, it's all connected because this is about moda, like about what is popular in this period.
I actually have a question to audience, and after that I encourage you also to ask your question. So if we have locals here, people from Poland, maybe you can share what's the attitude to mustaches in your culture. Anyone? No? Okay.
Everything is clear.
Yeah, if you have any questions, just please raise your hand. Yeah?
Thank you. Your cinematography was absolutely gorgeous in that film, and I want to know what your inspiration was, because it almost felt like a feature in a fictional film rather than a documentary. And what was your process and inspiration for that? Because it was gorgeous, like all the way through.
This was not a question. Thank you. This is the mission of our festival, to look for some similar things and to celebrate our diversity, to look and see what can be the similar and can unite us here. So for us it's your international team, and this topic is just a confirmation of this idea. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we have very limited time, that's why we will pass on to the next film, but of course you can talk to the directors, to authors after the screening. So our second film, as you remember, about dwarf rescuer. And my first question was actually, what is actual legal consequences of stealing dwarfs in Croatia?
So, I mean, it's theft, you know, just like if you steal anything from other people's property, if you take someone's car from their, like, in front of their house, it's the same if you steal the garden gnomes, you know. So, I don't know if you noticed, but my protagonist, the wrote one, he actually had problems because I suppose it's the same in Poland or Ukraine. You always have like old ladies that are always on the window and watching everything. Okay, so one lady like that saw him and other guys stealing a bunch of garden gnomes. Some of them were like fixated to the ground, so they were pulling them, and some of them were like without legs. And she recognized him because he has a ponytail. And then the police came and they prosecuted him, and that's where the story is that the young attorney really wanted to laugh because it was like stealing of garden gnomes. So, yeah.
I was actually surprised because after I watched the film and got so inspired, and I started telling people about that. And I was surprised that actually many people was like, yeah, haven't you heard of front? Like, it's quite common and it's quite widespread in many countries. And like, what? So how did you learn about the topic? Like, is it really a common scene? And like, if anyone here also was aware of that, please share your experience of dwarfs rescuing.
Yeah, for me, I really didn't know about that. I got a voice message in some random group chat that like a friend of mine heard about about those guys, and at the same time I had to do something for school, a short documentary, and then I asked her to get the contact from somebody there, but then I started researching about, and I think it all started in France, and I also heard before coming here that there is a town in Poland full of garden gnomes, so yeah.
But all these your protagonists, they are friends till now, and what's their plan for future? Like what they plan to do with the gnomes and with everything?
Well, they originally met as bikers, so they know each other from biking and being in moto clubs together. And then somewhere along the road, read newspapers, and then they like made a fraction that's called GLF, and they are basically just doing that for fun, and they are basically lovers of mountain, and they have a secret rock in Velebit Mountain that's like the biggest mountain in Croatia, and they have a hidden spot where, like, when they are going to the mountain once or twice a year, they just bring the gnomes they collected and they store it there because they really believe that gnomes should live in nature, not in gardens. Yeah, so that's, I mean, they are retired, you know. And the sad story is that one of them, the one with the hat, he died like three weeks after the shooting, so this is the last footage of him alive. Yeah.
Any questions from audience?
This is also a purpose of documenting documentaries, to document all the lives, and it's usually very sad for directors because during the shooting you become so close to these people. So we are so sorry for that. Okay.
Yeah, but just to finish up on a positive note, this discussion, I think the important thing that was said in this film is one of the guys says, like, I don't want to make any deep philosophical, like, you know, conclusions out of it. We're just doing it for fun, like, we're enjoying life. So I think it's a very important message.
Yes, and everything, all 4 films are so positive, and it's like, you know, like taking some pills to you know, to get better. So your films I would recommend to everybody to watch just to have a good mood. Thank you for this.
Okay, so we are moving to Turkey, to Izmir, and as we discovered last night at our opening, Can here is himself quite a party guy. So have you learned tricks at this particular feast? Or, so what are your impressions? Tell us about how was it to be the part of this party?
Well, firstly, I was hoping that you wouldn't find out I was a party guy. Okay. So, I think it's pretty much warmer than I expected. It's my first international film festival. Unfortunately, I'm not the director, one of the co-directors of this movie. I'm just in the process, mostly for translations, but like in many countries, the filming, especially the short filming community is really limited, so everybody knows everyone in the community. So we really grow close for the last 10 years, and we are working together to do everything. So today I might not be able to answer your technical questions about the movie, but since I live in Izmir, since I know the Tenekeli neighborhood, the one you have seen in the movie, I think I can answer most of your questions today. I hope so. So yes, I'm a party guy.
You know what? We have the same name in Bulgarian tradition, Gheorghiovten.
Which one?
Bulgarian tradition, Gheorghiovten, and for all Balkanic people, it's usual. For Albani, I know for sure. So for me, it was absolutely new view of this, of this tradition, and it's so interesting to how you become closer to this society, to make this, to organize, and how they let you come in this society.
Okay, well, actually, it's a part of the plan for now, but as you can see in the first movie, we are not really in the community. It was the...
You from outside?
Yeah. Actually, we are acting like a fly on the wall on this one, because this project was the footage you have seen here was shot between 2013 to 15, which was really done in a hurry because there's a big urbanization process in Izmir, so most of the cultural areas, most of the rural areas are being demolished and people are transferring from one place to another, but nothing's staying the same after that. So even though the shootings took 5 years, we still were not really able to be in the community, if you ask me, because the Roma community is generally really close in all around the world. There are, I believe there is another short film in the festival that includes the Roma culture too, and viewers might want to see that too to understand what I'm saying right now. But after all these footages of 4 to 5 years, we decided that we have tried many versions of this movie. We have tried to get them all together in one movie. We maybe contemplated that we can do one big movie about it, but at the final process we decided that this should be a trilogy. So this one is the first part of our planned trilogy, and in this one we are kind of acting like the fly on the wall, and in the second one we are going to use some stop motions if it's possible, if it works for us, and this will be about the journey we are trying to get close with Roma community, but I'm not sure if it's really possible, because there are borders in the city, cultural borders in the city. Sometimes they don't let you in, and sometimes you can't really be a part of the community. But all in all, they really welcomed us as a crew, and I hope in time you will see the additional footage including the ederlezi, or hidrellezi you may call, I don't know, it's...
You're gifted.
Yes. And this is the best, actually, we could get into them. And you never understand if they accept you or if they just let you observe them from outside. I think it's changing from people to people. Some of them accepted us and some of them didn't.
But
That's all I
they
can say.
let you shoot them. So
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Here, the film is very positive, so I'm trying to balance everything out. So I will go for a problematic question here, because, of course, we observe this feast, but also in some shots, in some scenes, we can see the signs of problems that they also have there, like women, saying about Xanax and making fun of that. They mention in the problem with religion, because it doesn't really goes along with the main religion of the country. So what would you say are the main problems? And you mentioned urbanization, so what would you say is happening with this community, and how do you, or what is the future for them as you see it?
Well, the answer to this one is totally subjective for me, because I'm not the director, and Nestle, the main director who came with the idea to shoot this, has kind of different ideas from me. But the main problem for her was to see how girls are getting makeups, how they are getting those clothes, and she, at the first place, she was really irritated by it. She thought that there was something wrong with it. But I believe when you try to get into any culture, you first notice your own prejudgments about things. So I'm really confused about what to think on the subject, because it's not for me to judge anyone on anything. And as long as people are happy and no one is being spoiled or anything, I don't think it's for me to say it's wrong or right. But for me, I believe it's the outsiders that makes things complicated for them. They are really happy inside. They don't really mind wearing anything. They don't really mind doing those makeups. And as I'm not sure if you catched it up, but in one point the man says that to find the money we are going to buy a refrigerator and sell a refrigerator. And there are so many things like the Xanax thing that we can't really get the grasp of. That was the reason that I'm saying we cannot really be part of the community unless we really experience those things. But I think all in all, thanks for saying that the movie is a really positive perspective. And in the second one, I know we have a little time, and in the second one, we are going to try to be more inclusive to the community, because there are so many footages that includes our directors, but we deliberately didn't use them. We wanted the viewer to be a part of the directors, be part of the observers, not amongst them. So I hope you can catch our second movie in the future.
Well, this is a great approach, and it really goes in line with the philosophy of our festival. So thank you for this, and I believe we will have more talks about that, and in general about how directors should approach studying other cultures, because we have many films in our programs that were shot by directors who are coming from another country rather than shown in the. With this, we are moving to the last film from this block, and we are welcoming with round of applause our guest who traveled from Brazil. So please. First question would be, how are you? How do you feel? How was your trip? And is it your first time in Poland in particular?
Europe. Hey, my name is Marx. I'm from Brazil. Like she said, I'm from Rio de Janeiro, the same state from the Golden Line Tamarind, Mico Leão Dourado in Portuguese. and I'm tired. 20 hours, 4 hours in Amsterdam, but I'm very happy to be here. First time in Europe, first time in the International Film Festival, and first time in Poland. And
yeah, the introduction, I said that like the film is very positive, and we keep saying that this blog is positive, but actually the films touch upon some very important problems as well. But like, I would say a positive description of your film comes more of a fascination of nature, you know, and it's like a great start to seeing how we can change our communities through actually admiring the environment that we live in. So I wanted to ask, what is your relationship to the environmental problems? Like, do you work with this specifically, or was it just a topic that you stumbled upon as a director and decided to research on it?
Before I work with cinema, sorry about my English, right? I will try to explain. Before I worked with cinema, I studied geography at college. And the guy who was the film in Memoriam was my teacher. And the golden line timer, I'm 37. And when I was a kid, there was a big congress in Rio, my city, that was Echo 92. I don't know if you remember. And they talk about ecology and everything, and the golden lion tamarin starts to be a Brazilian symbol, you know. And for the last 4 years, we had a really, really bad president in Brazil. His first enemy was the Brazilian population, and the second enemy was the Brazilian nature. And I thought that it's very important because there's 200 golden items to talk about this history that we don't have a movie talking about this job with the recuperation of the golden lion tamarin.
This is actually an example how documentaries can influence on society and on the country and all the planet, you know. So it's so important to show it, you know. So thank you.
Any question from audience? Then I also wanted to ask you, because like I'm actually surprised that you mentioned that you studied geography, because I was thinking that you're like super professional filmmaker, because at our festival we always have this dilemma, like are we more about ethnography or are we more about film, you know, and like you don't want to give up on cinematic quality, but at the same time, like you understand that ethnography is such a subject that sometimes you don't have any other opportunities rather than to just grab a camera and go there, you know, not minding really technical issues. But this film is very professionally made. So I wanted to ask a little bit about your team, or maybe about the process of making the film. So how you, as a director, decided on a style, on the editing, you know, on the sound effects, because it's very impressive, really. I really enjoyed it from the cinematic point of view as well.
I studied geography, but I worked with cinema for the last 12 years. Yeah. And it was a big problem because we did that film. I'm the director, I'm the editor, montador in Portuguese. And when we filmed it, we were in the middle of the pandemic, the COVID pandemic, and we cannot film the monkey because they don't know what the consequence of the COVID with the monkey. So I have to change all my plans and use a lot of archive material like you saw in the movie, and I'm concentrating more in talking about the human behavior with the nature, that thing that the man is from outside and it's not in the nature. So I just use public archive material from public acervos from Brazil. I don't know how to say in English. And all the songs are, two songs are from our original, and the others are from classical music from Brazil. And it was artisanal movie, you know, because we have a very low budget to do that, and we have just working the process and like this 7 persons, you know, and it's in Brazil we used to make cinema like this, like artisanal or
that you're from Ukraine.
Yeah, that's. But I think that the things will be better now. I hope in Ukraine too.
Okay, I just want to remind you that we have so little time for a discussion. Yes, and for the next, we have already have to prepare next screening. So, but we have some presents to you, and your film is in competition, and jury, members of jury, they are working on it. Yes. They are watching the films, they will
Judging right now.
Yes, and they will give us their decision. We don't know what it will be. I hope maybe one of you will be the winner of this short films competition. And for winners of short competition, we have prepared money prize, like 20,000 grivnas. We will check how much it is on your money, and we will send it after this. And I just will remind that this partner of our prize is a streaming platform Megogo in Ukraine, and your films are now online on the platform for Ukrainians who are. And this one, can you help me and give it? Yeah. This is the diploma. And this is the,
Yes, so we have this traditional brick on which is written "Your culture is your weapon." So this is our message to the world, and this brick comes from Bessarabia, right? Because there is an ancient tradition of this region to collectively build houses for each other with small handmade bricks.
And I should tell, give the performance to everybody, and I should tell you the story how briquette, and for us it's so symbolic, I'm telling you, and I am just really, it's so emotional, and we want you to gather these bricks for future and to build your wall of film, of a career, of a dream, of culture. Let's make it really our weapon, and for building your house of dream. Yes, it's so symbolic. So we hope it will be the first one, and maybe second and third, and you will come to us again.
Thank you everybody for joining. In practically 1 hour time, we will have our next screening, which is the first film of the feature competition, and then another film at 6 and Ukrainian at 9 p.m. So please do join, and thank you again for coming.
And also you can buy some stuff on our market. Money of this will go to the army and for supporting Ukraine.
Okay, practical question, guys. Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry, of course. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Did everybody get accreditation, guys? Already? Yes, yes.
Problems with the record.
Yeah, we have many guests who have problems. That's why I'm asking. You've got yours? Yeah, okay.
But I think they're taking care of that, but we are going to, we waited for like 20 minutes or half an hour, but we had to leave.
But the problem was that you couldn't register or they lost your accreditation, because we have two types of problems.
I couldn't register and Marina is waiting. So
by myself. Hi, I'm Andrew. Nice to meet you. This is Novi.
Okay.
Great, thank you. Congratulations on the film. It's really cool. Yeah, really interesting.
I had while shooting the movie, I had one with long
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You've got to try and compete with those Hungarians.
Yes.
That's cool. And this is your first
Sorry.
cameraman?
One more picture and he will be back, sorry.
Ні, я можу бути на цей час, взагалі без проблем. Не треба, ні. Я думаю, що це прикольніше буде. Воно якось не завантажує.